Omkar, Anand, Sagar, can you all hear my voice now? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Omkar, am I audible to you? Good. Omkar, if it is comfortable to you, can you please unmute yourself? Okay, Sagar, what is your observation about the today's GS paper 2 and GS paper 1 question paper?
Yes, sir. GS paper one question paper was easier than previous year. बट जो क्वेश्चन जो पूछा गया था सर उन्होंने जो स्पेसिफिकली वन सब्जेक्ट के ऊपर नहीं पूछा था सर, जो इंटरलिंक करके पूछा था उन्होंने सर, ज्योग्राफी और हिस्ट्री बहुत कंबाइन करके क्वेश्चन पूछा था सर वो।
राइट।
और कुछ क्वेश्चन भी जो करंट अफेयर बेस पे क्वेश्चन उन्होंने पूछा है सर, जीएस पेपर 2 में।
So that's what I always say. For the last 2 to 3 years, UPSC is continuously asking the question from the current affairs. So as I always say, both which I have explained to you during the prelims exam as well. So now it has become, reading newspaper has become more and more important, and as well as keeping yourself updated with the current affairs is more important. Apart from studying statistics, like only if you study the basic subjects and if you don't keep updated yourself with the current issues related to that topics which you are reading in the books, then it will be very difficult for you to write the answer. Prelims exam में भी जैसे एक particular trend है क्वेश्चन पूछने का, वैसे ही trend मेंस एग्जाम में भी है. So what is that trend? I'll explain to you one by one. Right? So let's go with the question paper. Can you see the question paper on the screen now? Is it visible? It's getting downloaded. Just wait for a moment. So this is GS paper 1 question paper. I will be having a separate session for essay writing, like how to write the essay. Because last 2 to 3 years, UPSC is asking more philosophical questions in both section 1 as well as in section 2. So how to connect that philosophical topic with the GS and your optional paper, that I'll explain to you sometime again. But today we will be discussing the GS paper. Can you see the GS paper 1 on your screen? Is visible now?
Yes, screen.
Not
okay, is it visible?
Yes, sir. Not
okay, so in GS paper 1, the major topics in GS paper 1 is ancient Indian history, especially art, culture, and literature, etc. Then second topic which we have in history is world history, modern Indian history. Then we are having topics like society, Indian society, problems of urbanization. Then communalism, socialism, capitalism, these political philosophies. And lastly, we are having geography, like major features of the world physical geography. And we are having topics like effects of phenomena like earthquake, tsunami, cyclones, etc. on flora and fauna. These are the topics in GS paper 1, the major topics. Like so, based on that only the questions have been asked. If you study topic wise rather than reading the whole the concept, if you study topic wise, then it will be very easy for you to write the answer. Now, first question. Let's start with the first question. This question is for 150 words. Like you have to write answer in 150 words. And to write the answer in 150 words, you need to have at least 5 points. Like if you write 30 words on each point, then you will be able to write the answer in 150 words. So whenever you are writing the answer, as I always say, it's more about technique. It's more about being systematic. It's more about how cleverly you write the answer in exam. Like बहुत बार ऐसे होता है कि many students, they have a lot of knowledge, but they don't have the technique. They don't have you can say the discipline that how to write the answer in a systematic way in exam. Right? So that's what you can see here. Question is, explain the role of geographical factors towards the development of ancient India. So the question is for 10 marks, and the word limit which is there is 150 per word, right? So to write 150 words answer, you need to have at least 5 points. 30 words you can write it on each point. That's what how you need to make the structure of your answer, right? So what is, it's a very simple question. You can say, as Sagar has rightly said, that interlinking of the topic is important. Now you can say geography is the last topic of the syllabus. Last mein hai, like various physical basic features of the physics, world physical geography, and first topic is history. So here they have interconnected these two subjects, geography with history. So what is the question? The question is here saying that to explain the role of geographical factors towards the development of ancient India. So when you read ancient Indian history, especially NCERT, or when you read the books of the authors like D.N. Jha, or whenever you are reading the books like Spectrum, the very first topic of the ancient Indian history begins with the role of geography in studying history. Like because I always say geography may differ, but history remains same. If you remember this statement when I take the history class, I always say that geography may differ, but history remains the same. Because the history of any one particular region, which actually depends upon the geography of that region, like whether that is that region is having a river, or whether that region is having mountain, or whether it is a plain, whether it is a alluvial soil, or whether it is a desert, or whether it is the marshy land. Depending upon that, the history of that that particular region is explained, right? So when we are studying the ancient Indian history, अब ancient Indian history जब मैं कहता हूँ तो क्या आता है, देखिए how you can make the point in writing the answer. Like whenever I say ancient Indian history, so what I always say whenever I'm teaching you ancient Indian history, I say that you need to have the periodical understanding. Do you remember that periodical understanding? तो periodical understanding में आप क्या देखेंगे? सबसे पहले तो होता है prehistoric period. Then we discuss about the Indus Valley civilization. Then we discuss about the Aryans, like Vedic, early Vedic period, later Vedic period. Then we talk about the Mahajanpadas. Then we talk about the Mauryan period. Then we will talk about the Gupta period, etc. Right? So you can see one by one. You can see that ancient Indian history. So what the kind of social, political, economic system which was there in Indus Valley civilization, of course, that was influenced by the geography, because all those ancient Indus Valley civilization sites have been located on the river banks. So this is one geographical factors, that how it has helped in setting up the Indus Valley civilization, or limiting Indus Valley civilization to that particular region only. Then we also see that when early Vedic period people, when they migrated from northwestern part of India to the plain in India, like when they came into the Gangetic plain, then they started doing rice cultivation. They started doing the intensive agriculture, and that intensive agriculture has influenced the ancient Indian history there. Then we also see in this way you have to explain in periodic wise. जैसे जैसे वो period आपको ध्यान में आएंगे ना, वैसे वैसे you will आपको ये याद में आ जाएगा कि उस पीरियड में कौन सा ज्योग्राफिकल फैक्टर्स ज्यादा उस पे इन्फ्लुएंस किए. ऑल ऑफ यू अंडरस्टूड? लाइक मौर्यन पीरियड का अगर हम देखते हैं, टी मौर्यन पीरियड, यू कैन से द साउथ इंडिया का जो है ना एंशिएंट इंडियन मतलब देते हैं ना संगम लिटरेचर, वहां पे स्टेट फॉर्मेशन उतना ज्यादा नहीं हुआ था जैसे नॉर्थ इंडिया में हुआ. द रीजन इज दैट कि नॉर्थ इंडिया इज अ प्लेन एरिया, perennial rivers are there, and because of that the state formation took place in the North India and it did not took place in South India. The state formation is a later phenomenon in South India. The reason is geographical. Or if you remember this, geographical reason में बहुत सारी चीजें कह सकते हैं, जैसे कि availability of the iron in the North India, that is also one of the important reason for intensive agriculture. Intensive agriculture Varna system started, because of that Brahman Kshatriya Vaishya system started. So in this way you have to interconnect and you have to explain. So you can easily write 150 words. Question क्या है? Explain the role of geographical factors. अब geographical factors में क्या आएगा? You can make a structure. Like geographical factors में क्या आएंगे? Geography में क्या study करते हैं? Rivers, mountain, plain, soil, forest. These are the geographical factors. So what is the role of river? अगर आप आंसर लिखना चाहते हो, रोल ऑफ माउंटेन्स, रोल ऑफ द प्लेन एरिया, द रोल ऑफ सॉइल, द रोल ऑफ फॉरेस्ट, द रोल ऑफ अदर रीजन, ऐसे आप उसको फैक्टर्स 5 फैक्टर्स आप ले सकते हो, एंड हाउ दैट 5 फैक्टर्स इज हेल्पिंग इन डेवलपमेंट ऑफ एंशिएंट इंडिया. द ट्रिगर वर्ड इज व्हाट? द ट्रिगर वर्ड हियर इज डेवलपमेंट ऑफ एंशिएंट इंडिया. तो डेवलपमेंट ऑफ एंशिएंट इंडिया में दे सकते हैं कि इंडस वैली सिविलाइजेशन पीपल व्हाई दे वर एबल टू एक्सपोर्ट सम गुड्स टू द to the other countries. Gupta period में हम एक्सपोर्ट कर पाए. Spices, Indian spices, they also played a very important role in the development of ancient Indian history. Muslin cloths, cotton cultivation in India, all these were the factors which were responsible for the development of ancient India. In this way, you have to interconnect and write the answer. Got it? Omkar, Sagar? Yes, Sagar, you wanted to add something? सागर तुला काय सांगायचं होतं का? Am I audible, Sagar? Anant, can you hear me? Anant, Omkar, Munir.
Yes, sir. तुमचा आवाज थोड़ा ब्रेक होता है मधुर सर.
My voice is clear to all of you, right?
Yes.
Okay, fine. Now let's move on to the next question. See, it's a very easy question. मुझे लगता है कि ये जो question था, it was a very easy question compared to the previous year में जो specifically culture based जो questions आए. There were some questions which have been asked based on the culture, culture like art, architecture, literature. That becomes very difficult to write answer. But it was a very general question. I don't think to write the answer of this question, if you have studied seriously, you need to think more to write the answer. Got it? It was a very easy question. That how geographical factors played a role in development of ancient Indian history. Clear? So if you are having just a basic historical sense, you can write the answer of this question. Now let's move on to the next question. This question is from modern Indian history. Syllabus में कहा गया है contributions and contributors from the various parts of the country. This is the topic. So question पूछा गया, what was the difference between Mahatma Gandhi and Rabindranath Tagore in their approach towards education and nationalism? Similar such question has also been asked in previous year questions as well. Sagar, have you seen? Was there any similar such question in previous year questions? If you have gone through the modern Indian history questions in mains exam.
Yes, sir. Ideology difference between Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar and Mahatma Gandhi, sir.
Yes. So the question was that write about the ideological differences between Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar and Mahatma Gandhi. I always say Mahatma Gandhi is a favorite for UPSC. यहाँ पे क्या पूछा देखिए सिमिलर क्वेश्चन लास्ट ईयर उन्होंने बाबा साहब अम्बेडकर के साथ में कंपैरिजन किया था. अब यहाँ पे पूछा है रविंद्रनाथ टैगोर. व्हाई रविंद्रनाथ टैगोर? एनी आइडिया? कैन यू प्रेडिक्ट कि व्हाई दिस ईयर द यूपीएससी must have asked the questions with respect to Rabindranath Tagore? Any guesses? Omkar, Sagar, Anant? Is my voice audible? Sagar, माझा आवाज ऐकू येतोय का तुम्हा सर्वांना?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so what could be the reason that why UPSC has asked the questions with respect to Rabindranath Tagore? UPSC to ask Mahatma Gandhi, but why Rabindranath Tagore? Yes, Sagar, what do you think? Why UPSC has asked questions with respect to Rabindranath Tagore this year?
Because of new education policy, sir.
Okay. Or no, we have celebrated, I think, 150th birth anniversary of Rabindranath Tagore this year. Last year हमने रविंद्रनाथ टैगोर की birth anniversary थी, and उस समय में आपने देखा होगा, नरेंद्र मोदी and ममता बनर्जी, they were on the same stage. वहां पर रविंद्रनाथ टैगोर से रिलेटेड एक क्वेश्चन पूछा गया था. अब यहाँ पे हम प्रेडिक्ट क्या कर सकते हैं? लाइक क्वेश्चन कैन बी आस्क्ड विद रिस्पेक्ट टू द आइडियोलॉजिकल डिफरेंसेस बिटवीन महात्मा गांधी, रविंद्रनाथ टैगोर, बाबा साहेब अम्बेडकर. दे माइट आल्सो आस्क यू क्वेश्चंस विद रिस्पेक्ट टू सुभाष चंद्र बोस, भगत सिंह. महात्मा गांधी के जिन जिन लोगों के साथ में आइडियोलॉजिकल डिफरेंसेस थे उससे रिलेटेड क्वेश्चन पूछा जा सकता है. इज इट क्लियर?
Yes, sir.
So when you are preparing for this particular topic, you need to know the ideological differences between Mahatma Gandhi, Subhash Chandra Bose, Bhagat Singh, Rabindranath Tagore, then even Jawaharlal Nehru. the other important contributors in the Indian freedom struggle. Clear? Munir, am I audible to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Now let's move on to the next question. Bring out the socio-economic effects of introduction of railways in different countries of the world. This is actually the question of colonialism. In GS paper 1, there is one topic called colonialism. So introduction of the railways was a part of the colonization by the Western countries in the different countries of the world. Can you tell me the British as well as the European, the powers at the time, they have brought the railways in which different countries in the world? India to hai, all of you know, India mein railway introduced kiya gaya tha. What socio-economic effects took place on the India? Same effects have also took place in other parts of the world as well. So the railways were introduced in Africa, railways were introduced in Southeast Asia, railways were introduced in Latin America, railways were also introduced in the America. Got it? So bring out the socio-economic effects of introduction of the railways in different countries of the world. So the answer of this question you can easily get it in Grover and Grover. Grover and Grover की जो book है उसमें बहुत अच्छे तरीके से इसमें explain किया गया है that what socio-economic effects have taken place in India after the introduction of railways. Anyone knows who has introduced railways in India? Like Governor General when the railways were introduced in India.
Lord Dalhousie, sir.
Lord Dalhousie, right? And so when we discuss the introduction of the railways in India, we have discussed the socio-economic effects of the introduction of railways in India. Now tell me, the introduction of the railways had a positive effects or it had a negative effect? Yes, Munir, what do you think? Introduction of railways in India particularly, it was having the positive effects or it was having negative effects?
Positive effects.
Positive effects. Positive effects only, or it was having some negative effects also? Sagar, what do you think?
Yes, sir. Both, sir. Negative and positive, sir.
So 150 words you have to write the answer. So you can write 75 words positive effects and 75 words negative effects. Because railways introduced होने के बाद में इंडिया पे बहुत सारे सोशल इकोनॉमिक इफेक्ट्स हुए हैं. There were some positives and there were some negatives. So what are those points? I'll explain to you. हम बाद में आंसर देखेंगे, but आंसर का स्ट्रक्चर कैसे होना चाहिए, that's what I'm explaining. Right? Can you tell me 3 positive effects and 3 negative effects? Sagar, 3 positive effects of introduction of railways in India, socio-economic effects, and 3 negative effects.
Yes, sir. First one, तो transport था वो easy हो गया, sir. And second, जो trade हुआ करता था, तो एक दूसरे से दूसरे जगह पे जो हम ले जाते थे वो गुड्स उसको भी वो भी मतलब ज्यादा हम एक ही साथ में ले जा सकते थे, सर.
You need to focus on this particular trigger word in this question. The question is socio-economic effects. So there are certain social effects of introduction of railways in India. Positive effects क्या हुआ था मैं आपको बताता हूँ. Introduction of railways, एक statement है about the Dalhousie. Lord Macaulay ने ये कहा था. The introduction of railways has done which has not been able or possible by the sword of Tipu Sultan and by Samrat by Akbar और टिपू सुल्तान जो नहीं कर पाए तो वो रेलवे नहीं किया. सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट चीज तो क्या था कि रेलवेज इंट्रोडक्शन की वजह से इंडिया में देयर वाज राइज ऑफ नेशनलिज्म इन इंडिया, बिकॉज़ ऑल द पीपल इन द कंट्री दे स्टार्टेड traveling from one part of the other part. They came to know about the common problems. So rise of nationalism in India, this was one of the important positive effects of railways, introduction of railways in India. Mobilization of resources, उसका एक अच्छे तरीके से फायदा हो गया था. Railways has helped in you can say railways has helped in हम क्या कहें कि mobilization जो इंडिया में जो भी resources थे, that is capital resources, material resources and human resources, इसका एक फायदा होता है. Negative impacts of of the introduction of the railways in India. One is railways were introduced with the purpose of colonial reasons, like एक्सप्लॉइटिंग द मोर एंड मोर रॉ मटेरियल। इंडिया का जो भी रॉ मटेरियल था वो इंग्लैंड में एक्सपोर्ट हो गया। इंडिया के जो विलेज इंडस्ट्रीज थी, इंडिया के जो इकोनॉमिक इंडस्ट्रीज थी वो खत्म हो गया। इंडिया के जो कास्ट सिस्टम थे, सोशियो इफेक्ट, एक सोशियो इकोनॉमिक इफेक्ट था, कास्ट सिस्टम इंडिया का खत्म हो गया। जो सेल्फ रिलायंट विलेजेस थी इंडिया में वो एक्सप्लॉइट वो खत्म हो गए इंडिया में। So these were the negative impacts of the introduction of the railways in India during that. So the India में थे same thing, same effects also took place in the other parts of the world as well. Like for example, अफ्रीका में कुछ रीजंस हुए, अफ्रीका में apartheid बढ़ गया था, लैटिन अमेरिका में भी ये कुछ हो गया। So actually this was a question of world history, not Indian history. But you can write the socio-economic effects of introduction of railways in India, which were the same reasons in other parts of the country as well. Got it? Chaliye, now let's move on to the next. Discuss the consequence of climate change on the food security in tropical countries. Food security was a word, it was a buzzword last year. Anyone remember? This food security word was used by our Prime Minister in which meeting? न्यूज़पेपर में कंटिन्यूअसली फूड सिक्योरिटी से रिलेटेड आर्टिकल्स आ रहे थे। ओमकार, सागर, Anand, do you remember? Food security has been discussed in the G20 meeting, last G20 meeting, not this year. Last G20 meeting में डिस्कस किया गया था। उस समय में हमारे प्राइम मिनिस्टर ने ये कहा था कि इंडिया कैन गिव अ सॉल्यूशन, इंडिया कैन गिव अ सॉल्यूशन फॉर द फूड सिक्योरिटी प्रॉब्लम ऑफ द वर्ल्ड, लाइक ग्लोबल फूड सिक्योरिटी प्रॉब्लम को इंडिया मदद कर सकता है, ऐसे उन्होंने कहा था। तो यू कैन सी इफेक्ट्स ऑफ क्लाइमेट चेंज ऑन फूड सिक्योरिटी in tropical countries. Of course, India is also a tropical country. So discuss the consequence of climate change on the food security in tropical countries like India. So we have discussed, like this is a repeated question. Last year भी question पूछा गया था about the effects of climate change on agriculture. So of course, agriculture पे effect हो गया तो food security पे भी effect हो गया है. Is it a difficult question? Easy question. It's a very easy question if you are reading the newspaper continuously. Ashok Gulati के बहुत सारे articles newspaper में आए थे with respect to the effect of climate change on food security. Clear? Now let's move to the next question. Why is the world of and access to fresh water resources? Do you remember? I told you, like पिछले 2-3 साल से लगातार वाटर रिसोर्स मैनेजमेंट, वाटर यूज पॉलिसी से रिलेटेड बोथ प्रीलिम्स में भी क्वेश्चन पूछे जा रहे हैं और मेंस में भी पूछे जा रहे हैं। डू रिमेंबर दैट? इवन दिस ईयर्स प्रीलिम्स आल्सो देयर वाज क्वेश्चन ऑन वाटर मैनेजमेंट। लास्ट ईयर आल्सो देयर वाज क्वेश्चन ऑन वाटर मैनेजमेंट, राइट? सो क्वेश्चन क्या पूछा गया कि व्हाई इज द वर्ल्ड टुडे कन्फ्रंटेड विद द क्राइसिस ऑफ वन क्राइसिस एट अवेलेबिलिटी ऑफ द फ्रेश वाटर एंड एक्सेस टू द फ्रेश वाटर? Any scheme started by the government of India with respect to access to the fresh water in India, that everybody should get access to the fresh water in India? Yes, Sagar.
जल जीवन मिशन सर।
जल जीवन मिशन, राइट? तो जल जीवन मिशन के इतने सारे आर्टिकल्स न्यूज़पेपर में आए थे, and each and every article with respect to the jal जीवन mission has explained the crisis of access to the fresh water and availability of the fresh water. If you have read those articles with respect to the Jal Jeevan Mission, which has been started by the government of India, you would have got the points for writing the answer of this question. You need to write 5 points with respect to that why the world is facing this problem. What do you think? Is it lack of availability of the water or lack of the mismanagement of the use of water? We are having the crisis of fresh water resources in the whole world. Of course, global warming, climate change, industrialization, all these are also the important factors. Because of that, we are facing this crisis, right? Next, how the fjords are formed. This is actually a fjord. Fjords are the geographical formations. हमने वर्ल्ड फिजिकल ज्योग्राफी में हमने देखा था like various landforms are formed, like mountains, plateaus, then oxbow lakes. How the fjords are formed? Why do they constitute some of the most picturesque areas of the world? तो ये fjords कैसे बनते हैं और why they constitute some of the, anyone knows what are fjords? किसी ने पढ़ा है fjords के बारे में? Fjords are the erosional landforms which are formed due to the erosion by rivers and seawater. ठीक है, दिस इज अगेन अ वेरी फैक्चुअल क्वेश्चन. अगर एग्जाम में नहीं आता कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, बट इससे आपको ये पता चल जाता है कि ज्योग्राफिकल फीचर्स कैसे बनते हैं, क्या बनते हैं, उससे रिलेटेड यूपीएससी क्वेश्चन पूछता है, तो यू नीड टू प्रिपेयर फॉर. इंपॉर्टेंट फिजिकल फीचर्स. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन है, व्हाई इज द साउथ वेस्ट मानसून कॉल्ड ईस्टर्ली इन भोजपुर रीजन? भोजपुर कहां आता है? Bhojpuri. Which state in India Bhojpuri is spoken? Bihar. Eastern UP and Bihar. Can anybody tell me the winds which are coming in this part, that is Bihar, UP, they are southwesterly or they are northeasterly or they are easterly? And which branch of the monsoon brings the rainfall in this region? Is it a Bay of Bengal branch or it is the Arabian Sea branch? याद है मैंने एक्सप्लेन किया था आपको मानसून मैकेनिज्म में, हाउ द the winds which are coming from the Indian Ocean enters into India. हमने देखा था ना, बे ऑफ बंगाल से it takes a western turn and वहां से वो चले जाते हैं towards पंजाब एंड हरियाणा. So of course वहां जब वो आते हैं तो वो ईस्ट दिशा से आते हैं, वो पूर्व दिशा से आते हैं. That is why they are called as easterly. They are not called as a southwesterly. The winds which are entering in Maharashtra, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, they are southwesterly because they are coming from southwest direction. But the monsoon winds which are coming in Bihar, UP, and this region, they are coming from Bay of Bengal. And when they are coming from Bay of Bengal, they are coming from eastern region, and that is why they are called as eastern. So simply आपको क्या करना था? You need to draw the map of India. We need to draw the winds, the directions, Bay of Bengal branch and Arabian Sea branch, and that's what you need to explain. So why is the southwest monsoon called Purviya, that is easterly, in Bhojpur region? How has this directional seasonal wind system influenced the cultural ethos of the region? तो वहां के कल्चर पे इसका क्या असर हुआ, ये एक्सप्लेन करना था. The culture of this region. Got it? So GS पेपर 1 में टॉपिक है फीचर्स ऑफ इंडियन सोसाइटी, डाइवर्सिटी. तो डाइवर्सिटी इन इंडियन सोसाइटी इज एक्चुअली डिपेंड्स ऑन द ज्योग्राफिकल डाइवर्सिटी. तो इंडिया में मानसून जो होता है, नॉट ऑल मानसून इज साउथ वेस्ट, right? In different regions the monsoon winds have a different direction. In some region it is a southwesterly, in some region it is easterly, in some region it is northeasterly. Got it? Am I audible? The next question, इस क्वेश्चन का आंसर लिखने के लिए you need to have experience. The question is, do you think marriage as a sacrament is losing its value in modern India? क्या आप सोचते हैं कि आधुनिक भारत में विवाह एक संस्कार के रूप में अपना मूल्य खोता जा रहा है? Of course, this question you could write by your observation. Effects of globalization on Indian society. Got it? Why? Can you tell me why marriage is losing its value? Because earlier marriage was considered as a sacred in India, but now the marriage is losing its value in modern India. See, this is a trigger word, modern India. So effects of globalization in Indian society. So what do you think? Is it losing its value or not? Question पूछा है, question to you. Do you think marriage as a sacrament is losing its value in modern India? What do you think, Sagar? It's losing, or yes or no?
Sir, it's not using completely, but it's some part में तो change हुआ है sir, lose हुआ है sir. जो core
still marriage plays an important role in Indian society.
Yes sir, जो core values है वो तो lose नहीं हुआ है sir.
ठीक है अनंत, आप
completely lose नहीं
आपका क्या experience है?
There is some regions in India in which there is losing regularly, but now also some regions maintain their secrets or values.
ठीक, चलिए, so you can write the answer of this question.
Different regions.
So you have to write both. Do you think जब पूछा गया है, you can write both the points, that why it is losing and why it is not losing.
Yes.
You can write 50 words about why it's losing. You can write 50 words about why it's not losing. Got it? If you see the questions, आपने एक ऑब्जर्व किया होगा जीएस पेपर 1 के, कुछ क्वेश्चंस हैं जिसके लिए आपको ना स्पेसिफिक पढ़ाई करने की जरूरत है, बट कुछ क्वेश्चंस ऐसे होते हैं ना कि एनीबॉडी हु इज एन अवेयर पर्सन और हु इज जो एक जिंदा आदमी है, वो इस क्वेश्चन के आंसर लिख सकता है. उसके लिए आपको स्पेसिफिकली कोचिंग करने की भी जरूरत नहीं है. सिंपल क्वेश्चन है कि एक्सप्लेन व्हाई सुसाइड अमंग यंग वुमेन इज इंक्रीजिंग इन इंडियन सोसाइटी. सिंपल है, बहुत सारे रीजंस है इसके. यू कैन राइट लाइक सोशल मीडिया है, न्यूक्लियर फैमिलीज है, राइट. यू कुड राइट लाइक कॉम्पिटिशंस है, करियर्स को लेकर बहुत सारे क्वेश्चंस हैं. इंडियन सोसाइटी में बहुत सारे ऐसी चीजें होते हैं कि जिसकी वजह से होता है इट इज हैविंग सोशल रीजन. सो आप क्वेश्चन टॉपिक जो है जीएस पेपर में, द रोल ऑफ वुमेन एंड वुमेन्स ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, एक टॉपिक है जीएस पेपर पर, उससे रिलेटेड एक क्वेश्चन पूछा गया. एक्सप्लेन व्हाई सुसाइड अमंग यंग वुमेन इज इंक्रीजिंग इन इंडियन सोसाइटी. So you could give example of 2 or 3 film actor who have committed suicide, or you can give any example like while writing the answer of this question. Do you think to write the answer of this question you need any coaching for writing the answer of this question? You can write it by simply looking at the society. You can write the answer. What UPSC is expecting from you, that you need to have a keen observation that what is happening in Indian society. Got it? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. The next question: child cuddling is now being replaced by mobile phones. Discuss its impact on the socialization of children. Simple question. Okay? Like earlier, the children were get cuddled by their parents, by their grandparents, by their but now now children's it is replaced by the mobile phones. Now children prefer more mobile phones. So discuss its impact on socialization of children. Children के socialization पे इसका क्या इफेक्ट होता है, ये पूछा गया. Got it? 150 words you need to write the answer.
एक्चुअली कुछ टाइम पहले से इंडियन एक्सप्रेस में एक आर्टिकल भी था इसी के ऊपर.
Yes, there was an article. I believe पिछले 2-3 साल से लगातार जितने भी सारे इंडियन एक्सप्रेस में जो आर्टिकल्स आते हैं, इम्पोर्टेंट आर्टिकल्स, इस पे बहुत सारे क्वेश्चन पूछे गए.
और
पेपर 2 और पेपर 3
फ्यूचर से रिलेटेड, तो उसमें मैरिज इशू भी था.
Right. If you are having that article with you, Anand, अगर आपने वो संभाल कर रखा हुआ है, either soft copy or hard copy, please share it with us.
I will check it.
Check it. Now let's move on to the next question. What are the main features of Vedic society and religion? जिसने भी मेरे बेसिक क्लासेस किए हैं, I don't think उनके लिए ये question difficult होगा. What are the main features of Vedic society? Can anybody tell me 4 to 5 important features of Vedic society and religion? Now tell me, Vedic people were nature worshippers or they were the idol worshippers? Yes, Sagar. Vedic society के जो लोग थे वे आइडल वर्शिपर थे या नेचर वर्शिपर? मैंने एक्सप्लेन किया था आपको. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
साथ ओंकार. Simple है. You need to write about 4 to 5 important features of Vedic society. One is they were the nature worshippers. Their society was based on the Vedas, Rig Veda, Yajurveda, Atharvaveda, Samveda. Vedic people, they were the settled people or they were the nomadic tribes?
Nomadic tribes.
They were the nomadic tribes.